So what kind of things can we have as evidence? What are the different types of evidence? I've already mentioned about 5.
Memories.
Whether it's family or not.
So, relationship, memories, age, always a good one. Yeah, ideally, do you know, I didn't put that down on my list of evidence, but that's where we always like to start. I've got a man or a woman, unless you don't know. And in which case, you've got to find out. Sometimes, I mentioned last time, sometimes you get some gentlemen who have an energy that's not a strong male energy. And sometimes you get some women who have a strong male energy. Yeah. So if you're using just the energy alone, sometimes you can get caught out with it. Mm-hmm. So I always ask to see their dress and their shoes. And Linda tells me that another teacher always asks to see to feel if they've got a chest, a bosom or not. And I never thought of that. Do you know, I've never thought of that. So what else can we ask for? What else is evidence?
The reason for description.
How they passed.
Right, distinguishing one.
So appearance, anything that's interesting to distinguish them. Dates. Places.
Birthdays, marriages, that sort of thing.
Hobbies, pastimes, occupation, interests. Personality is a good one, isn't it?
Yeah,
personality is very important. Yeah, I like.
Hobbies.
I like a spirit who's got a personality. Hobbies. Yeah, so I'd limit that in with their appearance. You know, do they have 3 legs or? So places. Yeah, but I don't know about you, but I probably don't know that many of my relatives' postcodes. Same with phone numbers as well. You know, people talk about giving phone numbers, but I don't know about you. If someone gave me my granny's phone number, I'd be like, yeah, right. I don't know.
Car registration numbers?
Again, most people have a hard enough job remembering their own, so I don't know. Yeah, it is evidence.
Yeah.
What else is there? Anything else we've forgotten?
Objects like that.
Objects, yeah. Occupation. So, shared memories again, yeah.
Relative they were.
Were they a good one? Did they leave you lots of money? Or were they out there somewhere and you only saw them once in a blue moon? Were they friend? Were they family? So I think you've covered a lot of it. I don't know. So we've got age, relationship, health, passing, personality, appearance, shared memories, occupation and interests, habits. Did they like drinking heavily, smoking heavily? Did they like walking the dog every morning before breakfast? Likes, dislikes, names, dates, places. Did they have any pets? Did they have a dog? Did they have a rabbit that they thought was a dog? So yes, so these are all different types of evidence. There are probably more that I haven't mentioned here, but I can't remember them, so we'll have to think about them later. So what would you say would not be evidence? What is not evidence? So the message would not be evidence because it's the message. So if you remember your CERT formula, the reason for coming is obviously not evidence because it's the reason for coming. So right, any information we can get psychically. So now I'm being made aware of the fact that there's been an almighty row around you recently in the last few days. You think, yeah, you're right, yeah. Well, I could easily be getting that on the psychic level, couldn't I? Who's to say that's coming from spirit? What about, since this gentleman's passing, there's been a row in the family and everyone's fallen out with each other? Is that evidence? If you knew it? Well, you could get it from spirit, or you could get it psychically, and we can't easily differentiate because if it's known, if you know it, if they said to you, you'll find that your cousin has fallen out with such and such a person in the family, and you think, well, I don't know that, and you go away and check it, and that's different because you didn't know it. It didn't come from you. It didn't come from your energy, your aura. But if it is information you know, to be honest, it's good supporting information, but it's not necessarily evidence. So what else is there? So again, information relating to you or information relating to others where it's known to you. But you do have to think about these things to understand how you're working, to understand how it all works. So I think we've pretty much covered it here. It's information about the sitter others, events since passing where they're known to you. If they're not known, as I say, that demonstrates what we call the living consciousness. That this person is aware of what's going on within their family or with their friends, and they know that certain things have happened that you don't. That's pretty impressive, because the medium's not read your mind or your aura, because you didn't know it. So they've actually took that from the spirit. Why they've come in the message, as I said, that doesn't count neither, because that's, again, often that comes on the psychic anyway. We spoke about this last time, that you can get, the medium finds it really hard to work with spirit, information comes through ever so slowly, and as soon as it comes to the message, we're up and running, they're telling me this, they're telling me that, they're telling me the other, and if actually all they've done is just drop to the psychic and pick up all the information from the recipient quite quickly. And if there's a huge difference in how the medium's working, I would question what's happening. So as I say, this does support that you have a link with the spirit, but it doesn't demonstrate it. It supports it. It's good supporting evidence. But because we can get it psychically, we can't say it's conclusive evidence of having a spirit link. So how will we know if we've given enough evidence for recipient in the audience to know that the loved one is there? If the whole point of giving evidence is to give sufficient evidence for them to be recognised and for them to believe they're there, how do we find out whether we've done the job or not? Or do we just think, okay, I'll keep working for half an hour and hopefully that'll be it? That should be enough.
You ask them.
Yeah, so what would you do? What would you say? So they may give you positive responses, but they themselves might be quite difficult. And your audience, your recipients, will vary from people who totally believe to people who are totally sceptical. And whilst they may even give you positive responses, they may still not believe you have the person you say you have. So Anne's quite right. What I would do is I would say to the person, do you recognise the communicator? Yes. Have I given you sufficient information that you know they're here now? Yes. If they said no to me, I would still continue to work until I get to a point where if it becomes clear that then I'm never going to give them sufficient information, well, I'm on a limited time here, so I'm going to have to move on, so I'm now going to move to the message, why they're here. I hope the information I've given to you helps you understand your loved one was here.
Because someone's here.
I've got your father here, and he's telling me you've been thinking about decorating lately.
Yeah, I've had that a lot.
Yeah, and where's the evidence? I usually think, well, hang on, how have you got my father here? How do I know that's my father? How do I know that's not just some random bloke off the street? How do I know you've even got a spirit link? So, we would like them to demonstrate them. Now, people do, I don't know why, but people find me very hard to work for as a recipient. And I don't know why that is the case. Well, I do actually. It's because I'm quite fussy and I like evidence. No, I don't put a block up, no such thing. But basically, someone coming to me knows that the evidence has to be right, otherwise I will say no. I don't give a lot of leeway when I'm working with people and students and things. When I'm at standstill, if someone says to me, I've got your mum here and she passed with a heart attack, I go, no, that's not right. And because for me, if someone tells you something that's blatantly wrong, I have to say, I'm really sorry. I'd love to take it, but I can't, I wouldn't be so blunt as to say, no, fold my arms and hard cheese. Yeah. Because how the recipient responds to you will depend whether you're in the energy or out of the energy pretty damn quickly. And they can move you out fairly quickly. And a total skeptic is very difficult to work with because the body language, everything they say, everything they do, does not give you the feeling you're working correctly. So when someone comes to see you who doesn't believe, and you give them blah, 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 would you understand father here? Would you understand he had problems with his heart? Yes, but didn't everybody? Okay. Would you understand that he had his own business? Yes, but that's not unusual, is it? And you kind of think, well, okay, I'm getting it right, but you're not getting the vibe back that he actually believes you've got him. So it's going to get harder and harder to work in, and at the end you may not prove it to them. So, but your job is to do your best for spirit. And it's important that we think about these things. It's important that we understand what good evidence is. And for me, the whole point of this, it's all about the evidence. But having said that, audiences also need educating as well, to my mind, because a lot of audiences want entertainment above evidence. A lot of audiences want somebody who makes them laugh, somebody who's interesting above. Having said that, some absolutely fantastic mediums can be boring. And what would you rather have? A guy who doesn't give you much in the way of evidence and doesn't prove anything, but's quite amusing and is a form of entertainment, or somebody who gives you excellent evidence, but you're almost asleep?